So the last Type 1 and the first Type 2 Silver Eagle ever minted sold for like $160,000 for the pair.
This coin released it, I think it was 2,700.
Yeah, for a half ounce.
Already sold for 4,000. That's insane.
The pennies are being stopped. When are they going to stop the pennies? And I think I finally kind of went down the rabbit hole.
Well, we did 3 7-figure transactions this quarter alone.
We're talking millions of dollars for coins and bars.
All of a sudden, I know from my Numismatist magazine what this guy looks like. Q David Bauer walking into the elevator.
You could have bought this coin when we told you to for $110. But if you sent that coin in to get graded and got a 70, that's a $400 to $500 coin right now.
Kurt just landed stateside.
Right, where'd you fly out of? Where'd you fly from? Give us a little, where'd you go? What was your favorite place? What should everyone listen and do?
Yeah, that's a lot. Did 11 countries. Just returned from the Azores. So a little chain of islands off the coast of Portugal, sort of like mid-Atlantic region. Flew there from Porto, city in the north, but I started my whole trip in Berlin on June 8th, just got back July 31st, so little 7-week trip. Met a lot of cool people, went to a lot of cool art museums, coin museums. It was really incredible. It was a lot to unpack, but I really wanted to share that I was able to visit a lot of the great mints, in Berlin, in Leipzig, the Mulden Mutant Mint, where they struck a lot of Imperial German coins, a lot of different areas in the Czech Republic where silver and the thaler was first being created. But this coin is a Charles X, 1828 Lille Mint. And what's so special about this coin, out of the many that I bought while I was traveling, is that this coin, one second here, I'm going to try to flip my camera.
This is a coin that you bought in Germany or in?
I bought this in the village of Lille, France, or the town of Lille, France, and it is okay. The camera's not letting me flip.
At least we know it's not just Charles, who's computer illiterate.
Yeah.
Well, it's not computer illiterate, but you can see here it's in mint state condition. Really flashy, choice unk coin, 1828. So, I mean, this would be comparable.
That's pretty.
Yeah, you have that.
So, how much did you pay for that? Why'd you buy it? Why did that look out to you? Out of all your things, why is that one so special?
So the great story behind this is that it was found in a house they were doing renovations on, just 100 yards away from where it was struck, or 100 meters away from where it was struck 200 years ago. So I'm curious as to how that coin got into a hole in the wall with a bag full of the rest of them. I had my pick of the litter. And Europeans in general, they're beginning to adopt grading services as the sort of standard, but they have been slower than our American counterparts. So a lot of high value coins are still sold raw. A lot of ancient coins, most ancient coins as well, in European auction houses. So the coins were all raw. I looked at about 55 of them, and I picked out that one because it was the best condition, best luster, best cartwheel, but they were all 1828s, minted in Lille, the town in France, right near the border of Belgium. Really great story. I got the best one, so going to see what I'm going to do with it here. Probably sell it to a customer or make a post about it on my Instagram channel. But really great European trip, guys. Got to learn a lot and meet a lot of cool people.
So now what I really want to know, where was the best party?
Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah, Amsterdam?
Yeah, I mean, I
went to the Heineken factory, actually. Did you go, Kurt, to the Heineken factory?
No, I don't really have much interest in how it's made.
Yeah, but you're missing the best part. At the end of the tour, they let you off into a bar, literally, and they give you all the Heineken.
Oh, I believe that.
Fresh from the tap.
That's incredible.
And let me tell you, it's not the Heineken that comes in the bottle that we get. That stuff was good, man. I got off the chair. I'm like, oh.
Oh, that's fantastic. I also went to Greece. Got a cheap flight from Venice to Athens, round trip.
Nice.
And it was really great because I was in Venice the week of Jeff Bezos' wedding. So I got to see his yacht and also Michael Jordan's yacht.
And when you say cheap flight, what's a cheap flight from one side of the country to the next in Europe?
Oh, one side of yeah. I mean, it was like $80 to go
Yeah.
from Venice to Athens. So I
Most people
mean,
don't know
Wow.
how cheap it is to travel in Europe. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
it was like a
Do you
65
go
euro flight.
Ryanair?
It wasn't Ryanair. It was like Wizz Air or
No.
something like that. It
Yeah.
was a cheap
Easy jet.
airline. Yeah, EasyJet, something like that. They were unloading. I loaded right on from the tarmac, off of the tarmac. So that was a
Yeah.
cool experience. I felt like I was like Agent 47 or something like that coming off. And then
That's funny.
in Athens, we partied until probably like 6 in the morning. So that was cool to see the sun come up over Porto Rafti and the Aegean Sea. Really great time. Learned a lot. Had a lot of fun.
Jesus.
Nice.
Rumor
Good for you,
rumor
man.
has it, Charles, you're going to be traveling to Palm Beach soon.
Yeah, I'll be there next week.
Yeehaw! We'll be doing our next
I'll
episode
be there.
live.
We
Yeah.
we did a little contract business, I guess. So, but it'll be good. I'm looking forward to actually being there in person and doing next week. We'll do the podcast literally in your
Yeah,
office.
it'll be pretty
Yeah.
crazy. All of us but Kurt. Kurt, we got to fly you out here.
Next week I can
Yeah.
come.
Where are you right now? You're back in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, sort of. I'm right across the river in New Jersey, house sitting, but yeah, pretty much back home.
Oh, nice.
So,
Yeah, because you don't have to go back to school till when, like end of August
so
or
that's the problem. A&A this year, we didn't really talk about the unusual nature of the show. I mean, maybe we touched on it a little bit, but not only is it in a unique town, Oklahoma City, but it's also a lot later in the year than it usually is.
different dates. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I start my classes August 23rd or 24th, I believe. And the A&A shows,
Well, it's like right
yeah,
then.
it's that week. So I'm going to have to see how I can parlay this trip and also move into school. It's going to be a close one for sure.
It's rough. Go the first few 2 days and then
Yeah, it's probably
you
going to be the
can
move, but it's
bail.
going to be a lot. So they're not making it
Yeah.
easy to get to the A&A this year, that's for sure.
We will cover the ANA plenty in just a little bit, but I want to go ahead and get into our introductions. We didn't really talk about who we are and what we do in the last episode, so I want to go around each person, give a little 1 minute explanation of like who you are, why you're here on this panel, and then if you have an example of one of your favorite coin stories from your career so far, feel free to go ahead and throw that in. We'll go ahead and start with Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. I always like to start with who I was before I got into coins. I went to school to be a math and history teacher. I was a volleyball guy growing up in Florida. So, I was going to school to be a STEM teacher, mainly math and history. And then I was going to be a volleyball coach. I was almost done with my degree. I was going to Palm Beach State College, right in Gardens, and I picked up a side job working for like a bullion dealer and like a kind of like a rare coin dealer, and really just got comfortable with Morgans, BAMs, and other coins. Unfortunately, they ended up closing down. In between that time, I ended up starting up my own business, Premier Rare Coins, and I mean, 10 years later, the rest is history. I didn't really have any coin people in my history or past. It just kind of right place, right time, met the right person, got a unique and interesting side job while going to college part-time, and I ended up being really good at sales. And I mean, a math and history teacher kind of fell in very well with historical money. So it was, kind of a lot of luck that I fell into coins, because I didn't know about them before. I didn't know anyone that was about them. And if I didn't get that random job, I don't know if I'd ever actually be in coins. I'd probably be a history teacher or a math teacher. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to look at it now. We've done almost $100 million in high-end rare numismatic sales in 10 years. We've grown year over year, and it's just amazing to do something you love to do. Travel the world and meet amazing people and do friends. So I mean, first generation coin dealer. Here we are.
Nice.
Awesome, Charles.
Nice. Yeah, well, I'm doing this third generation technically. So I grew up sort of in the business. My stepfather had a coin shop and his father was in the coin business. So And actually, his father started the Long Beach Coin Show. So I grew up around coins and going to shows, and basically after school, I would get picked up and I would go straight to the coin shop, and I'd be there until we drove back home together because I went to school close by where our shop was located. So I was basically child labor. I was there all the time, having to work in there. I worked every job in the coin shop from cleanup guy to penny sorter to whatever needed to be done. Go get us coffee, go get me a Pepsi, that kind of thing. So eventually, I think the highest position I got there was like picking out, going through all the dimes and trying to pull out the better dates and that kind of thing and matching them there. And I got decent, and when I was young, I was pretty good at grading. And then, other things kind of took hold. I was sports. I played baseball in school, and then I did a bit of boxing for a while, and I played guitar. I was into music, so I actually went to school for music. I studied at Berkeley in Boston, and my principal was guitar. So I played. I had diverse interests, and I had a family member who was into trading of commodities and derivatives, and I kind of went that direction. I had a proprietary trading business for a while. And then when it came time to do something else for me, I wanted to do coins basically. So I choose to do now what I love to do, and I'm very happy for it. I was able to grow not only our coin shop business here in Northern California, but also start Vegas Coin Dealer and VCD auctions in 2019, doing more high-end numismatics, rarities, that sort of thing. And we've just seen it grow over the years, and one step at a time. It's become quite prominent. We've done really well in terms of selling rare ingots. I want to say, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong at this. I think we might be actually number one now as far as ingots in terms of realized prices at auction, and then also some private sales of handling some of the largest collections of rare ingots right now. So, and then we do really well in early US coins as well as some pioneer gold stuff. So it's been it's been incredible. I never expected any of that to happen, like when I started, I've talked about this too in previous podcasts. When I started Vegas Coin Dealer, I literally named it Vegas Coin Dealer just because I couldn't think of any other name. I needed a corporation to just have an LLC to have some kind, for tax purposes, basically. And and now it's
It's on the
become a
nose.
brand,
Yeah.
and I'm stuck with it. So for the good and the bad of the name, I'm definitely stuck with it now after all the time and effort and money that's been put into that.
No, I was going to ask Charles too, and I mean, like for me, like our average sale is like $2,000 to $3,000. I mean, every once in a while we might have a $10,000 coin that Premier Rare Coin sells, but we do mainly wholesale and bulk. For the audience, when you talk about ingots and stuff like this, can you give them a little inside hint? Like, are we talking five figures, six figure? What type of coins?
Well, we did three seven figure transactions this
There we go.
quarter
So
alone.
we're talking millions of
Yeah,
dollars for coins and bars that you're
yeah,
doing.
it's in the millions for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah. So
it's
for the
yeah.
audience, this is insane.
That's insane.
Once in a lifetime opportunity, and he's dealing, one a month practically.
Sort of. It seems like we've been trending having those large transactions pretty much quarterly now. But we're trying to step up the auction side of the business, do more sales. Right now, everything's very small, curated. We pick these coins to go in sales. Like I wouldn't put auctions with low quality coins or anything like that. We're not there's auction companies that are more like the volume approach, and then that just hasn't been the case for us, and I don't think it'll ever go in that direction. I do foresee us doing more complete collections and that kind of thing, but spread out amongst a couple days, and then really no more than 200 lots at a time.
That's incredible.
Well, there you go. Kurt, what's your background?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Kurt. Yeah, and I've been collecting coins since I was 6 years old. Always loved history, just like you guys. When other kids were watching, Saturday morning cartoons or just Cartoon Network or, Disney XD, I was watching the History Channel. Back before it was just all ancient alien stuff. I was watching these documentaries. I remember being 5 years old and I was watching a documentary on the triangular trade route. My mom comes in, she's like, CJ, Kurt, what are you watching? And disturbed by it, because there was people on the boats, and I was enthralled by it. I couldn't believe that the story of humans was so much longer than what we had known in our lifetimes. Just blew my mind. So flash forward a few years, my grandfather is a very passive coin collector. He has the Whitman coin albums, the blue albums, where he puts wheat pennies in from his pocket change, and he's been doing that for the past 60 years. So hours spent with my grandfather meant listening to Hank Sr. on the radio and plugging away at his Whitman penny albums. And that was the way that I got close to him, and it's the way I remember him. Loved going to coin shows with him and my dad and my mom taking me, begging them to drive me. Shows like Baltimore Whitman Expo, the 2018 ANA exposition in Philadelphia, where I met a few dealers. I'd memorized different pages of the Red Book that I'd gotten for Christmas, and they had convinced my sort of very protective parents that I needed to go to the ANA summer seminar in 2019, which was sort of the big bang moment for me. I met other kids that were obsessed with coins. They were very supportive of my interests and passions, and I didn't feel that alone. Going through middle school as a passionate coin collector, you're not definitely, like a Letterman jacket football captain kind of guy, but people dug it later on. I definitely found my crew there, and I was off to the races once the pandemic started Gammer Coin, my Instagram account, just sort of as a showcase for my coin collection. Turns out I was getting offers without prices on the postings. I would just talk about the coin and the history and how I got it. But people would message me, offering twice what I had paid for the coin, or even 3 times. And just like that, a little light bulb went off in my head, like, hey, I can make some money doing this. Flash forward to now, I buy and sell rare coins pretty much every day, or talk to someone about coins every day. I really enjoy it. It's paid, through school mostly, and I've been able to work for some amazing companies, meet some incredible people, and go to some amazing places. So definitely not an understatement to say numismatics has changed my life for the better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I second that one.
That's a great program too. Summer seminar at ANA for anyone who's interested in numismatics. That's literally the program to go see.
Yeah,
And there's a couple other programs out there as well. It's not like the ANA has. I mean, you take the lead. I mean,
Yeah,
you
new
went through,
ones have popped up now, which is cool.
'cause-
That you didn't have opportunities like Witter U and
and Stacks,
a
I
few
think, has
others
one
yeah,
that
too,
are
Stacks
right?
PMP,
Stacks and
Witter
now,
Coin
yeah.
U, which I think is going on right now in San Francisco.
Which we should put the links at the bottom and stuff like this. So, any parents that are watching this, any viewers, or any young people that are watching this, if you have kids, grandkids, these are things that they can apply for. And Kurt, tell them your process. I mean, it's free, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've actually done all 3 of those programs sometimes in the same year, back to back. So, yeah, Stacks, the professional
You little
numismatist.
nerd, you.
Sorry?
I said, you little nerd, you.
Yeah, no, totally.
Good for you, man.
The Stacks Professional Numismatist Program and Witter Coin University were 2 other fantastic programs. Seth Chandler of Witter Coin's been putting that on since 2021. I think now this is their 5th year. It's actually the first summer since 2021 I haven't been in San Francisco that week, either as a student, volunteering, helping out, just because it conflicted with some of my travel dates. Really regret not being out there, but it sounds like they're having a great time. Stacks Professional Numismatist Program on site in Costa Mesa, California. You get a behind-the-scenes look at their operation. They're the largest solely coin auction house, I believe, in the United States, with some incredible professional numismatists, some really great lectures, and really good time. Sorry?
Isn't Stacks the oldest auction house in America?
I believe so. Yeah, they have that. They have that under their belt as well since like 34, 33, something crazy.
Yeah, Stacks is the oldest numismatic auction house in America. I think Rare Koa is the oldest coin company in America. I think
Okay.
those are the two record holders right now, I think. So
I believe it. Yeah, Witter Coin Use, amazing. It's like a 6-day program in Fisherman's Wharf, San Francisco. They fly out numismatists from all over to give guest lectures, and professors from major companies like Saks or Heritage and PCGS. Just a really great opportunity. The application process, if you're a kid like me and you are passionate about coins, is very easy. If you'd like to apply, it's usually just a matter of short form essays. Sometimes there's a video component where you introduce yourself, and it is always free. I've never had to pay to apply to one of these programs. I've actually never had a dollar attached to them. If you get a scholarship to the PNP and Witter Coin University, they cover the lodging for you. And if you're under 18, I believe a parent or guardian for Witter Coin U, they brought my mom along twice to San Francisco, paid for our meals, paid for our flights, paid for our hotel room. They're really, really very inclusive there, and they do a lot for you. They just want to teach you. So there's a lot of incredible donors that support that. So really great program.
And Kurt, if anyone wanted to reach out to you, where would they? What would they look up? What platform? What's the name? If they wanted to ask you some questions about, like, if I'm an active parent and I want my kid to get involved in this, and I have some questions for you, where would I find you?
The best would probably be email, which would be cjgammer. We could link that in the chat at gmail.com.
Yeah, for sure.
And then also Gammercoin on Instagram, just because I have a lot of messages, DMs to go through. Might not get right back to you right away. Also dealing with some login issues. So we're gonna figure that out. But email cjgammer at gmail.com. I'd love to answer any questions that you guys might have about the application process. Something that really changed my life for the better, that's for sure.
That's awesome.
That's truly incredible.
And we didn't do my intro.
Oh yeah.
We didn't do my
Who
intro.
are you?
What's up? I'm Isaac. I'm the media guy, the video guy. I really wasn't a coin person until like 2 years ago when I started working with Premiere. Coins had kind of been in the background. My grandpa collected coins, wasn't like super out about it. I just kind of didn't think about it. But I've been doing media production basically since I was born. Instead of doing like essays and taking tests in school, I would just ask if I could make a video instead. Then I make a fun, silly video about whatever topic. And through that, kind of fell in love with making videos and researching and doing stuff like that, and started a marketing agency with a couple of my friends. Premier Rare Coins happened to be one of our first clients. And after a bit, I moved on from that company, and they offered me the full-time job. And I was like, through making the videos on coins and going through the research, it's kind of hard as a history guy not to like, the history behind coins and kind of fall in love with all of that. So now we're here uploading on YouTube and TikTok and all over the place, trying to bring coins to the outer world.
For people that haven't gone to shows before, Isaac, I've been going to them for 10 years. Charles is going to them for 3 generations. Kurt was born at a coin show. What is it like for someone like you that, like, this is your first real season, going to coin shows? I mean, since January, how many coin shows have you been? What's been impactful for you as like a first time, coin person that's, being in this? Like, what's your take on it?
It's just cool. It's just like a cool, chill place to be. I feel like when you go into a coin show, there is just like an atmosphere of community in there. Like, everybody is happy and ready to talk to you. Any questions you have, maybe not everybody. I've definitely walked up to some dealers who did not seem super inviting. But for the most part, everybody's ready and willing to talk to you. And everybody's in there because they love coins. They're also in there because they're trying to make money. But they wouldn't be there trying to make money unless they didn't love coins. So it's like you learn a whole ton when you're there. I've been to... going from having done no coin shows ever in my life to, in the last 6 months, we've done, let's see, the Fun Show, Berlin, Long Beach, Chicago,
Central States Fun Show again.
Central State. That's Chicago. Fun Show again.
The Pan Show.
You had him
Did
going
you go to the
everywhere.
Pan
Yeah,
Show?
everywhere.
At one point, right?
Yeah,
And pretty much
Yeah.
color
Oh,
is
man.
Pan
What
Show,
was that, Kurt?
A&A Museum. I mean,
lots. Honestly, too many to count.
multiple
Honestly,
countries.
too many to count.
Yeah, if you
States.
like traveling,
Yeah.
if you like traveling and getting paid for it, being a professional numismatist is definitely a viable career.
And arguably, it might be the only hobby where you can spend all your money and never actually run out of money.
Right. That's
true.
You don't get that with Pokemon
Yeah,
cards.
you know what I'm saying? You don't get that.
You don't get that with Pokemon
You
cards.
set a whole bunch of rare money on fire. You still got rare money. It's just
Right.
burnt.
It's funny, you know, I was having a conversation with another older dealer who's been around a long time, and we were talking about, you know, coins in our industry and going to different shows, and he said something that really struck me because I didn't think about it this way. He was like, you know, coins is not a job, it's a lifestyle. And I was like, oh, wow, you know, yeah, there's something to that. It almost feels like that. It seems because pretty much, you know, if you do the show circuit, you kind of know where you're going to be on any given part of the year, you know,
Well,
and
the
it's a lot
future.
of the same people. You see the same faces dealing, you know, you find your crew of people and then tend to do business. So it almost feels like that. It feels like a lifestyle.
Yeah, it's very rare where you have your professional job is also your hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
I guess it could be that way in other industries too, with sales and that type of thing. And
I've got like a double whammy because my hobby's making videos
yeah,
and coins, so it's a win-win.
absolutely.
That's
really cool.
What other coin shows are coming up you guys think people should know about?
I mean, I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but the Carson City coin show just dropped. That's supposed to be at the Carson City Mint.
that'll be
Now,
great.
unfortunately, it's the week.
Really?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, it's the week before the A&A, and to get to Carson City is probably the most difficult thing to do from Florida. Like even from Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Palm Beach, there's not one direct flight. It's like 8 to 9 hours to get all the way out there. But they literally just announced it like a couple days ago that I believe they're doing a 2-day coin show inside the Carson City Mint the weekend before the A&A. So I mean,
Yeah, so I'm getting a few conflicting articles. I have one here that says it will be August 15th to the 16th. I have another one that says September 20th to the 21st. So oh no, that's for last year. Okay. So this year it will be August 15th to the 16th.
was last year at the Carson City Mint as well?
Yes,
Okay.
it says Carson City Mint show. I'm kind of skimming over the article here, but
Yeah, I just thought that one was super cool because like literally I've never even heard about it and it just popped up and I'm like, hey, when has there ever been a coin show inside of an actual major mint? That's pretty crazy.
yeah. And Allen Rowe has a coin shop literally
Across the street.
Oh yeah, right
on the
across
other
street.
side of the street from the
Isn't
Carson
it
City
Northern
Mint too.
Nevada coin?
Yeah, Northern Nevada Coin. Yeah,
Talk about the
go check out our interview with Northern Nevada Coin on the YouTube channel. Go look
talk
at it.
about probably the best placement for a coin shop in the world, if not inside of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan's a legend.
Right next to
Yeah.
the mint, right?
Yeah, good for that. That's crazy. But other than that,
So
what are you
do you
guys looking
think
forward to?
other shows get bigger now, like with no Long Beach or what?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, Long Beach, since I've been in the game, has always kind of been an ending coin show, pending doom, unfortunately. Since I've been going, they were adding a lot more like movie stuff, playing cards, Pokemon cards at the end. It was getting a lot smaller. It was 3 times a year. So I mean, from being in my backyard having the fun show, and that being my first show I've ever been to, that's 2 hours away from me. I think I'm a little spoiled to answer that question because like one of the biggest shows in the world for numismatics is literally in my backyard. So it's like, did the fun show get bigger? I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of does every year. Did I see a difference? because of the ANA show or the Long Beach show. I'm not certain, but I mean, I don't know about you, but this last fun show for us was incredible. I mean, uh,
Yeah, the fun shows kind of become the winter fun, I think, and then this summer, this August
yeah,
ANA are probably the two biggest shows
definitely
right
the
now.
most anticipated for sure. You know,
It's weird. Like when I was a kid, Central States was huge. That was like probably one of the premier shows. That one and the Long Beach show.
yeah,
Long Beach was incredible. I remember going there as a kid. I mean, my cousin Tina had the pizza place, had a pizza restaurant in Long Beach, and she would send, some of her workers over there to go take orders. You could literally order a
that's
pizza
smart.
and have, or whatever was on the menu, have food brought right to your
That's
booth.
awesome.
I mean, it was insane. And then they had all kinds of vendors. I mean, they had the donut guy who had the mini donuts who was making donuts like right there. It was insane. It
Did
was so
did
cool.
they ever
It was
do
a whole event.
Did they ever do mint releases from the Long Beach show? Because I know Fun Show and A&A, they
I believe
always
they
do.
did
I've
because
never
all
seen
the
like a
mints were
long.
there. I mean, the major mints were there.
I'm just saying like a U.S. I've never seen like a Long Beach release for like a silver eagle or a gold eagle or a medal. Because like I do know
Oh.
like I will say like if you go to the Fun Show, which is the winter show, which is the largest one, or you go to the summer A&A, which is the largest one. They always have a release every year, and you can get a Fun Show release, designation on your coin or A&A designation, and those usually always sell for more too, which is a high reason to go.
And they get a
Yeah,
lot of the
that I don't
public
know.
in, right? So I'm thinking, I believe what was the first U.S. coin release at a U.S. coin show? Was it the 2014 JFK gold 50 cents, or was it another coin? What was the first
Uh,
U.S. mint release at a coin show?
I want to say, since I can remember, or at least in the last 10 to 11 years, they've always released the Mint State Business Strike Silver Eagles at the Fun Show. The U.S.
Okay,
Mint is always because
Mm.
it's the second week of the year every year, so usually like you could always buy Fun Show,
Uh-huh. I see. I see.
Mint State 70 Silver Eagles, and then usually you'll get like a proof strike that's released during the winter Fun Show, and then another proof coin that's usually released during the A&A, so like a San Francisco West Point design. But I don't know when. That's actually a really good question. If anyone knows that as an audience, please put it down in the bottom. We'll try to look it up for next week's show. But yeah, I mean, I've always remembered because that's one of the biggest things we did when we first got into modern. We would wait in line. We'd buy as many as they'd allow us from the mint. We'd bring them right over to PCGS because that's where John Mercanti was at the time. And then we'd get them all show graded at the show. They'd get the Fun Show with John Mercanti label. And you just turned at the time $18 American Eagle, right, into a $150 coin. Like, I mean, you just bring them home and put them on eBay, and they sold the second you did them. So it was just,
Mm.
as a new person in trying to find any ways to, put food on the table as a coin dealer. That was just, that was our first show. It was like, oh, they're releasing coins. How many can we get? Like, it was a no brainer. So, since then I've always, I always buy any show coin, any show medal, any release at a show. Because if you get that in a 70 and get the designation from there, it's kind of like you had to be here to get it kind of thing. Because me and Isaac were literally just having a rage-filled debate of how the U.S. Mint literally refuses to do anything other than their American Gold Eagle and American Silver Eagle. Like, how beautiful would it be to have like a silver buffalo?
right.
A 5-ounce
Yeah.
American Silver Eagle, a 1 kilo. Do you know how insane it would be if the U.S. Mint released 1,000 Silver Eagle kilos?
That would be so sick.
Like,
Crazy, actually.
you know
And
what I'm saying?
when
Like,
and who would, other than the materials cost, I mean, what do they have to lose by trying, dipping their toes into that sort of experimental release?
yeah, I mean, every major mint that I know of in the world, at this point, they make a 1-ounce silver, 1-ounce gold. Then they'll usually make like a half-ounce gold. They usually have like a 4 or 5 coin set of the silver coins and the gold coins. So you can get silver at like a tenth of an ounce, gold at a tenth of an ounce. And then a lot of times when you look at the Canadian Mint or the Royal Mint or the Perth Mint, they'll make the koala or the wedge tail, the kookaburra. they'll make them in 1 ounce silver, 5 ounce silver, 1 kilo silver. You look at the pandas; they make the pandas gold kilos. I don't know if they make a silver kilo panda, but I know they make the gold kilo pandas. They make the 1 ounce gold pandas. They do all kinds of interesting designs and interesting things for So every mint has their own specialty piece where they make a variety of silver coins, low mintage, colored, and different sizes where they go below an ounce and above. U.S. Mint, 0.
Maybe we can get some change happening because Kurt knows the new mint director. Kurt knows.
Oh yeah,
him.
they got someone new in there, right? Just recently.
Yeah, so I'll read a little bit about it real quick. New U.S. Mint Director nominated. Longtime coin collector and dealer Paul Hollis has been nominated by Donald Trump to serve as the 41st director of the U.S.
By
Mint.
who?
By Donald Trump. It was.
I heard you. I just wanted you to say it twice.
Yeah, but Kurt, you know this guy personally?
Yeah. So I'm just hearing about this now in the past hour or so. I haven't talked to anyone else about it, but yeah, Mr. Hollis, really cool collector, staple at a lot of the big shows. You'll see him. I've talked to him quite a few times about his interests as a collector and what he thinks should be next in the industry. Definitely a forward-thinking kind of guy, and someone that we would definitely be better off having in that position if we're looking towards tailoring more towards collectors, the main consumer of this sort of product. I'm really excited for the future. Hope that so he's nominated right now. He hasn't been confirmed, or I don't know what the process is like for that. I'd like to learn a little bit more, but really excited to hear that news because I think he's a really great guy.
Yeah, and this
That's
article
awesome.
is from July 24th, so some new info may have come out that I just haven't seen yet. I'll link anything in the show notes
Right.
below.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. Super down to earth, really knowledgeable guy. I think he's from Louisiana, so a lot of New Orleans mint. Believe he's worked with them to build an exhibit there in the past. Definitely involved in public service in his career, and definitely loves coins. So this is exactly the type of guy that you
Oh, that's
want to see
great.
in that role.
New Orleans Mint has a good exhibit too down
I
there.
think he had a
So you
part in
can
that.
see the old presses.
I think he had a part in that. I'm not sure his involvement, but there was some sort of level of collaboration there. So really cool guy with the best interests of the American people in mind. So really exciting. Good call.
Sorry, I
what's
did
up?
just gronk this. This is really interesting. So the president selects a nominee. So Donald Trump had to select a nominee from the Department of Treasury and White House personal offices. Candidates are chosen based on qualifications, alignments of policy goals, and often partisan or political connections. Now, once the president signs and formally submits the nomination to the Senate, refers it typically to the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee. Then the committee holds hearings where the nominee appears, answers questions whether or not the hearing is held. The committee then votes to report the nominee favorably, advisory, or without recommendation to the full Senate. The nomination is then scheduled on the Senate's executive calendar and then confirmed by unanimous consent.
Wow.
And then decided by simple majority vote. And then after it's confirmed, the director serves a 5-year term as established under the Coinage Act of 1873. The Mint operates under the Department of Treasury and the director reports to the Treasury Secretary. And then July 17, 2025, President Trump did nominate Paul, who is a seasoned, like you said, Kurt, Louisiana-based coin collector, rare coin dealer, and former state representative to serve as the 41st director of the U.S. Mint.
Yeah, that's just great.
Wow.
Really great. Really good news. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems right though. That's an involved process. It's not, it's not just an easy appointment.
Yeah, and I mean, and on top of that, he definitely has some qualifications. I mean, he served in the Louisiana House from 2012 to 2024, so 12 years. He currently serves on the Louisiana State Board of Education. So, just talking about the, young numismatists and all the programs that we're doing, hopefully he's very involved in that and boosting the education and more collectors into the community. And he's also been nominated as a major moment for collectors. Just so many qualifications. So, I mean, like you said, Kurt, this seems to be a great choice. but man, does he have to go through a lot of hoops to get there.
Yeah, well, it's a big
Yeah.
job, so it's a really big role. I mean, especially when they were setting out those rules. I mean, you got to think about it. When the United States Mint was established, we were not issuing paper currency. We were only minting hard, precious metals and the U.S. Mint was the where the buck stopped for the United States dollar and its production. So I mean, very closely aligned to the Treasury. So even though now we don't really use coins in day-to-day purchases. Maybe we get them back if we pay in cash. We're all paying with plastic, but I mean, coins were so important. Specie was so important that when the country was being founded, this was one of the most important roles in the country, and it still is very relevant today. So just really excited to see what he has in store for the office. Hopefully, his nomination sails through very smoothly.
And real quick,
Be good.
just to
New blood.
just to touch on this, which is pretty crazy. I mean, I know we had it on the docket, but since we're talking about transitions, Isaac, someone crazy just retired, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, we were going to talk about the innovation dollar, but I guess we can move on to someone a little more important than the innovation dollar. I'm happy to not give the innovation dollar any light. Yeah, Q David Bowers, one of probably the most notable people in coin collecting ever, at least in my short 2-year history. That's what I gather. He's stepping down from Stack's Bowers Galleries.
Have you guys ever met David Bowers before? I've never met him.
Yeah, an absolute legend. He's been active in the coin industry since the early 1950s, I believe. And I remember, just reading so many of his personal anecdotes of the coin industry in the dozens and dozens of books that he's written on numismatics and the business of numismatics.
70 books.
There was one story that he's talking about where, he's talking about finding barbers in circulation. Like what?
Yeah.
Like that's how long this
he
guy's
did
been
become a
into
coin
coins.
dealer, and
Fire.
he became a coin dealer in 1952. He
Right.
literally founded
So, I
Empire
mean,
Coin in 1958.
it's just incredible.
Something like that, at least.
Yeah, he was 14 years old.
I mean, the sort of coins that he's handled in the past and the things that he's seen and the people that he's met. So a little story about Q David Bowers is I was 13 years old in 2018, not to date you guys, but I was 13, and at my first Whitman Expo that I begged my parents to let me to go. It's a 2.5-hour drive from where I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. So, not a small undertaking for them. So they drove, finally, and I think it was like part of my birthday gift or something that they'd take me down there. And I'm sitting, and my mom went off to the bathroom and told me to wait if you've ever been to the Baltimore Expo, you know that there's a large gathering of tables right outside the big door. So I'm sitting at them with my little red book and, probably about $40 worth of coins, which I thought was like I was a millionaire, right? And all of a sudden, I know from my Numismatist magazine what this guy looks like. Q David Bowers walking across from the two main doors into the elevator near the escalator in the building. And I am overwhelmed. I rush over there just to tell him how big of a fan I am and to talk to him a little bit more. And he says, I'm running up to a meeting upstairs, but if you want, you can come with me into the elevator and we can talk more. So I get in the elevator with him and I talk, and he tells me some advice about collecting, always buy quality over quantity, buy the book before the coin, and shakes my hand before he goes off into his meeting. And I'm completely starstruck as a 13-year-old Poindexter. Now, of course, after I got back downstairs, my parents were looking for me like, hey, where did you go? And after I told them that I ran off with a stranger, they were a little apprehensive. But I showed them all my books when we got back home, and on every one of my books, it had Q David Bowers on the side of it. So it was just a really, really great guy. Really nice to meet.
That's awesome.
That's an incredible story.
story.
Yeah, he actually authored over 50 books.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean,
I'm looking at an article that says he did over 70.
70, yeah, probably. Yeah, this one says authored over 50 books is the last thing I've seen. But I mean, he's definitely prolific all around the block. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
He was a contributor to the Numismatist for decades too. So
I would like just to second that quote. I think that might be the first time I've heard that one. But buy the book before the coin. It's something I've always done, but I've never like wrote that down. Like I'm gonna print that out on like a billboard. Like buy the book before the coin. Like, geez.
You must not watch my
Always
videos all
buy
the way through,
quality
Jeff.
too. That's a
I've
good one.
I've heard that like a bajillion times. It's like the number one advice that any coin dealer gives.
Well, when I did
Yeah.
all the Reddit reviews, I did say buy the book. But I mean, like putting it in a sentence and quotations to tell a 13-year-old kid
I
buy the
do
book before the coin is just absolutely
for
genius.
sure.
No, it was a
Do
really
we
great. It
know
was a really
who
great
coined
experience.
that? Does that come from Q David Bowers? Because if it does, it makes a whole lot of sense why he would tell you to buy the book before the coin. I'm just saying.
Right.
You wrote
I
it.
don't know, but it would make sense.
I mean, he does have an invested
It's great
interest.
advice either way,
He's right,
but
though. He's
Consider
right.
yeah,
Regardless, he's right.
all the
You
numismatic books
should
are
buy
written
the
by
book
him. You
before
know.
the coin.
Funny story is that he was actually born in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. We know him as, being a New Hampshire guy, Wolfsboro, right? But he was actually born about, I don't know, 45 minutes away from where I was and probably about 20 minutes away from where I grew up. So really cool, and I made sure to mention that to him, which he definitely got a kick out of. So that was the
I mean,
first and only time I've ever seen him in person. I believe shortly after that meeting, he stopped going to a lot of shows. So that was pretty much my one and only chance to meet him, I believe. Unfortunately, but I definitely made good use of it. So, and he was definitely very receptive. So, great guy, and glad to hear that he's going to be
That's cool.
at relaxation, and he definitely deserves some time off. So, he's done a lot for this hobby.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what hobby he's going to retire to.
probably sleep.
Probably.
Is he going to keep doing coin? I mean, I have a question. I have a question for the panel because obviously I'm a newer guy in this world, and I see a lot of the times reading through articles and whatnot. This specific one is about the Scotsman Coin and Jewelry auction that happened at Wisconsin Coin Show a couple weeks ago. And in pretty much every article about auctions that I read, at least I guess they have to go well for them to have an auction, but they always mention when coins get purchased over the estimate, which obviously I understand why that might be cool, but does that really matter?
Yeah, I mean, so it could be an indicator. People, when they're reading stuff like that, they're trying to look for market indicators usually. So if there's a lot of demand in a given type series on a particular coin, then it's notable to mention something like that because it does affect a given market depending upon what you collect. Like if a key date, Morgan Dollar or whatever, does really well at auction, that's good for the people that collect Morgans. And that I would say that's true for any series.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to give any insight into that, I would say knowing a lot of the auctions, it, anyone could be a cataloger. I mean, obviously, some auctions have, different virtues. If you're looking at the VCD auction, Charles, I'm pretty sure Charles is the one as the professional giving the entire explanation, what he thinks is his professional opinion, the estimate and retail value are, versus a lot of the bigger auctions. I don't know if that's actually the case. So you got to be careful when seeing those. Some auctions have incentives to put it low. Some might not be experts in all these coins. Like for example, again, don't don't kill me for this one. It's just my opinion. I don't know if it's accurate, but I don't see how someone like Heritage could have an independent expert on every coin for every auction and every subject to give an estimated value on every coin all of the time. Maybe they do. Maybe they have some AI service that would do that now. But that it's an extremely difficult thing to do, and they don't want flack for over inflating an estimated price. So I mean, I don't know what your opinion would be on that, Charles, since
Yeah.
obviously you run an auction. So like, what's the benefit of keeping it low versus keeping it high? Like, what is the mindset that goes into
Well,
putting an estimate?
that's why I do, we made a policy not to really put estimates anymore because we really don't know. Like we kind of gauge price based on what we think the market will do when informing the consigner. Sometimes the consigner wants to be a little bit more aggressive on pricing, or they're a little bit more flexible on the flip side. to putting the price a little bit lower and then hope to drum up bidding. So it kind of, we always have to deal with the consignor's concerns and try and make the best possible scenario for both, make it fair for both the buyer and the consigner. So I tried to gear the expectations to something what I think is market reasonable. I mean, we've been working on ways to sort of get that done more efficiently. So my approach, coming from my background, I was doing, data work, big data work, not that long ago, 10, 15 years ago. I mean, now they call it AI, but back when I was doing it, it was called machine learning. That was the buzz term at the time, but it's basically now what is now AI. So we've started a project to where I'm using algorithms basically to help us price stuff based on our market knowledge and some of our prior sales and just overall different proprietary technology that we
And
put in there. So I'm hoping that'll be a really cool, unique feature that will launch soon to where you'll be able to literally get an account for free and then go in. You can enter all the attributes of the slab and it'll kind of give you a range of what we think it would sell for at auction.
which is
So
crazy
I'm
to do.
hoping that's going to be a good tool
Yeah,
for
because
people.
like from my like personal antidotes, you know, like how do you price out a coin that's a toner, right? How do you price out a coin that's a unique world coin or shipwreck coin? It's just these things that are just not possible. If you go onto a heritage auction and you look up a Morgan toner that's a common date from New Orleans, that's in a 64, that's going to be a $200, $300 coin, but it's going to sell for 2,000, 3,000 most of the time if it's a monster tone. And same thing with shipwrecks. Like, I mean, when you go into Sedgwick's auction, like I'm sure they do their best on trying to estimate the prices. They do well at being very conservative, but like every time they auction for more than what they put. Now that may be because they're trying to be conservative, but like most of these coins are so uniquely out there and so scarce to get. Um, it's one of those things where like the only ones that are available are the ones that came from this auction. And then once those are sold, you can only get the ones from the dealers that bought them from those auctions that haven't sold them yet. And then once those sell, you're kind of waiting for the next auction. So it's just like when I see estimates and stuff, I tell people like you got to be so careful because I mean, there's a million reasons why it could go over or under or not be accurate. I mean, if you're talking about a registry set coin where there's thousands of them that are certified and they're in auctions all the time, then sure, right? That's a good viable stat to look at and go for. And obviously, like Charles said, if you have like a major coin in a registry set that sets an auction record,
Oh yeah.
that's huge. But other than those use
But how many
cases,
points are you going to get for that particular coin, that date or over date or whatever it
exactly.
is? I mean, that plays a role too to the registry
Yeah.
guys. I mean, they've gamified this whole. They were so smart. PCGS was an innovator in the gamification of the registry set system, and they kind of really monopolized that, and that's why a lot of clients right now are paying premiums for coins and PCD holders because then they could thus put them in their registry sets. So, and it does matter too on how much points any given coin will give in the registry set. So if it's higher points for a certain key date or something like that, then it's going to be way more desirable and more competition at auction. We've noticed at
Yeah.
least.
But other than that, when it comes to estimated prices, you got to be very careful. And anything where the estimated price in an auction would be accurate, I would then believe it would also be accurate in the gray sheets or something else like that, which, is
Well, it's advantageous for them to set the estimates low and
yeah,
then outperform,
yeah, for sure.
you know.
Outperform expectations.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's very popular, especially in the world of ancients. I've noticed that a lot. A lot of companies that specialize in ancients, when they auction off coins, they always set the estimates really low. And if you know a given coin and the quality of it is just exceptional, you look at the estimate, I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna happen.
What are you thinking, Kurt? Do you
You
have an
can,
opinion on this one?
I mean, I can't say it any better than you guys have. I mean, it's always good to under promise and over deliver, right? So, I mean, you have a consigner that is looking for a general idea. They're shopping a collection around to, you as an auction house, maybe a few other local coin shops, little seedy, whatever. They're trying to make a buck, whatever. One coin dealer promises them 50,000. The next coin dealer promises them 100,000. They take it to an auction house who says, we don't know, but this is our estimate. It's 200, or 125. That way, they're not pressed to give that money. Now, some auction houses offer advances based off of the estimate, so that's another advantage of keeping it low, right? If you tell them that, it's going to sell for 125,000, they can give, sometimes 40 or up to 50% of that amount as a cash advance, dealing with, a lot of other things around us surrounding an estate. And then usually, let's say, it was not appraised, but the estimate was at 125. I mean, I could expect, $200,000 for that collection usually, something like that. But I would say a large part of it is attached to cash advances for the auction house part, because that gives them a large competitive edge over anyone else doing business in that area. Not only will we give you more, give it in a public setting so that your coins have mass exposure, but we'll also give you cash in hand today if you need it. So I think that's a large part of why auction estimates are conservative. And then, of course, as you guys have hammered home, it's always good to over deliver, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Which we've had to do. We've given guarantees before on deals. So
Yeah.
like we can guarantee you X basically based on our knowledge of a given collection or whatever.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't know that when you put your coins in auctions, that most of the time the person that owns the item is getting part of that buyer's premium, and a lot of the times the auctions are prepaying a certain percentage of what they might estimate the final sale to be in advance, like you said, Kurt. So, that's definitely I was definitely interested to learn that when I first found out. I was like, I never knew that. From my perspective, I've literally never put anything in an auction before, literally ever. So, learn something new.
We don't have a whole ton of time left, but we have a handful of different topics. Which direction do you guys want to go? We've got some new coin releases. We've got some updates on some coins that have come into our shop. And then we also have Kurt wanted to bring up the Vegas show.
The Vegas show?
yeah, wasn't there a big Vegas show
We didn't know if Charles.
a couple weeks ago or a week ago? I saw
Oh,
something.
CK show.
Yeah, did you go to that? I wanted to
CK
ask you. That's all. That was me bringing it up. I just was curious if you were there.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
No, I don't do that show.
I've done it
Okay.
once before.
I know it's crazy because it's in Vegas, and
Right? I will say something.
just for whatever reason.
Just to give them a shout out, I don't go out there because, again, Vegas is really difficult to get out to. It's on the other side of the country practically. And Vegas has a rare coin tax, which I'm not fond of.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like they pass out all these forms at every coin show, and they want you to write down, everything that you sold to all the local people and taxes you collected and stuff. And I'm like, this is in my kind of state. But other than their laws and stuff, I will give props to the actual coin show, because it is a smaller coin show, so there's not a lot of dealers. And like, to get into it, you have to kind of apply, you have to, follow rules and stuff like that. So unlike a lot of the bigger shows where people just come and leave and do whatever they want, you're not going to get an empty table at this show. And one thing I will say that I really, really do like about the Vegas show, they set it up with an entrance and an exit. So there's no roaming the floor, right? You are going to walk through the show. You are forced to walk by every booth and then leave.
Wow.
You could circle back if you'd like. You can walk forward or backwards, but there's no left or right, right? You walk through the show. You meet the dealers that are there and stuff, and you walk out. And I'm like, you know what? For a smaller show, that's really cool. It's a really unique feature, and it does well by the dealers, obviously, because they've been continuing to do that one for a while. I have been a couple times in Vegas this fun,
It's a small show, but I think it's going to get bigger because, just due to Long Beach not being around anymore, a lot of West Coast guys, it'll
There's
be
nowhere
an
else to
option
go.
for them to go.
No,
Yeah, there's going to be a vacuum there for a while, which we didn't really talk about. I mean, which shows are going to get bigger. I'm looking forward to seeing another big West Coast show come out in the ashes of Long Beach. A lot of fond memories at that show. If you guys were there, I shaved my head. I had a full head of hair down to my shoulders. Meeting great people, sold some great coins. really sad that it's going away. I think maybe it'll come back, but I don't know.
Well,
Uh,
they're still
I
doing
hope
one a
so.
year, right? Just not doing 3 a year.
I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
I've heard both things.
It's tentative. It's tentative.
Gotcha. Well,
Yeah.
I will say this. I try to add in at the end of the show, right? I wanna see how we could educate our audience on possible ways for them to make a return in the coin world. Like if they've never bought a coin, if they're not good at coins, if they're just getting into coins, like where could we direct them? That would be a nice, good purchase to hold / good to flip. And I know we've talked on it a couple times before, but for those that may have missed it, Isaac put up some really good reels before. We tell everyone to subscribe to obviously this podcast now and other events for current events, so that way you're informed when we tell you. So I don't know if you guys have any examples or could bring some next week, but we actually just got in the Army Privy coins that finally just arrived from NGC and PCGS just the other day. Now we only got the AR coins, we didn't get the FDIs yet, but I want to make it very clear, right? You could have bought this coin, right, when we told you to. It didn't sell out right away, right, for $110, maybe 120, 130 shipped to your door to get the first day of issue label. If you sent that coin in and it got slabbed in a 70, which by the way, you could flip that coin in an original box for double what you paid immediately. But if you sent that coin in to get graded and got a 70, that's a $400 to $500 coin right now, overnight.
Insane.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and already,
Modern's like a whole other world for me.
it's literally crazy, right? Right,
I
because
don't know much about it.
but I will say the laser privy that's coming out, right? It's this is a landmark coin for. We've been talking about registry collections, right? And tell me if I'm wrong, Charles. Right? This is going to be a landmark coin for registry collectors because it's the first time the United States Mint
that's
has
good.
ever used a laser engraving on a master die on a main promotion like an American Gold Eagle or American Silver Eagle. It's never been done before. So they helped make the master dies for the new American Silver Eagle for the laser privy for the laser privy. So it's hilarious that the laser privy proof American Silver Eagle is the first Silver Eagle ever to be made with laser engraved dies. So laser. Either way, if the Army Privy coin, which had 100,000 mintage, same as this one, was a $110 coin that's now a $400 or $500 coin and a 70 FDI. What do you think it's going to be for a registry coin that's the first Silver Eagle ever struck with laser engraved master dies? Like that's going to be a turning point for any a registry collector that collects modern and silver coins. So if it's not equal to, in my opinion, it's better than the Army Privy. It's definitely one thing you want to look up on the calendar and not miss out on. I can tell you right now, I know dealers that are already pre-selling FDIs. They're already on eBay for laser privies for FDIs. I think like $400 to $500 already. So these are people that are assuming they're getting a bunch. They're going to have a handful, and they're already pre-selling them at 5 times what the U.S. Mint is going to release them for. So, I mean, if you've never bought a coin from the U.S. Mint, if you don't like modern coins, if you're just, you just don't know, I would definitely say give it a second look. You'll hear me talking about it on multiple podcasts and shorts to come. But this is, you don't get something like this often. I mean, we've been making American Silver Eagle since 1986. And it wasn't until 2021 when it was the first time they ever switched up the design. That was like almost 40 years it took them to change something. Wow. So to make this move is really cool because, the Canadian Mint.
That's unique. I didn't even know about that.
It's going to be huge.
That's insane.
It's going to be, it doesn't seem like it, but
we still have American Eagles in the original box that never took them out.
Yeah.
And from 86.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
That is literally insane. What's crazy is original.
It's got the shipping, the old school shipping on there and everything.
But people pay a lot of money for that. I mean, if you imagine in the world today, right, you have your Pokemon cards where you're ripping them live on stream, right? Like, that's getting a U.S. Mint box in the original shipping container, right? Like,
that's cool.
Can you imagine? Like, think about that for a second. Like, if you bought, what was it, the 1995 gold proof set, you got the silver proof coin for practically free, I think it was. If you just left that in the box right now, that coin's worth like $9,000. So a silver coin,
Well, it was a big deal when it first came out. So we were like, oh, the first American
yeah.
Eagle. Our family went and got them, and
What,
then
what,
we've kept them all these years.
yeah, and what's crazy is even with the 1986, if you still had it in the original box with the first day of issue shipping, and you can get first strike on that coin designated by NGC or PCGS, that coin immediately goes from a $1,500 coin to almost a $5,000 coin. Like that.
Really?
Yep. So, fun fact, go check those
That's
boxes.
crazy.
Because if those boxes were shipped on first day, right, that's going to be a $5,000 Silver Eagle just because of that. So
You're gonna
when
have
I
Chuck
tell
go
you,
I
through
don't
his
know. Should I
closet
do it?
after
You
this.
think?
yeah, right, yeah.
Should I do it?
Of course you should. Yes.
Should I get them graded? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, but now you know how it feels to own Pokemon cards from 1992. Like, do I rip it? Like,
Yeah.
is it going to get a
Yeah.
70?
My sister was
Is it,
into
you
Pokemon.
know?
That's more like her
Jesus, if my
era.
Pokemon cards didn't end up in the washing machine, I'd be a
For me, we
billionaire.
had garbage pail cards. I don't know if you remember. You,
Don't
you
date
guys are
yourself,
all too
Charles.
Oh
young
no,
for
I
that.
know a lot about the garbage pail kids. My dad growing up would call me
Garbage pail
yeah,
kids.
you know what those are?
No,
I'm old.
He called me
I
Graffiti
was
Petey
collecting
growing
them.
up. He called me Graffiti Petey whenever I
Yeah,
do something
graffiti,
bad.
graffiti. Yeah. Well, I used to buy sports cards too. We had a card shop like right next
Oh,
to
that's
us, and
cool.
then you'd get a piece of gum
Right.
inside.
That's awesome.
well,
I did a little bit with baseball cards, the T206 series. Over the pandemic, I really like the Washington Senators. I don't know why, just something I fixated on. But the same series of baseball cards, Honus Wagner baseball cards. So did a
Oh, that's the big one.
yeah,
Yeah.
did a few team sets where I would get all the players of a team. Obviously not Pittsburgh, but Washington, Baltimore, Montreal. Just one player in the series for Montreal. But in the time that it took me to build the sets, from when I started to when I sold them, the prices had already doubled in less than a year.
yeah.
So that gave me some starter cash to build what would later become Gamma Sugarloaf coin. Was baseball cards, really cool, but not like
That's so cool.
typical modern baseball cards. Like
Sorry, no, I was asking if any of you guys had, any laser privies out there that you guys were keeping an eye on, any coins, releases, anything that the audience can, use to their advantage and put on their watch list.
right, I know we talked about the Superman release. What was it last episode? So I think Isaac had an update as to the release date as to that in particular. Maybe it was there's an allotment that we need to sign up for if we want to get one, or there's a
Yeah, it's just their classic pre-order. I was under the impression that it was at like releasing day of, but they were just starting the pre-order. But I did want to pull up the pre-orders from eBay
Wow.
for the PF70s because it kind of speaks to what Jeff was just talking about. This coin released it. I think it was 2,700.
Yeah, for a half ounce.
Already.
Which everyone that even including myself, shit on. Right? Like $2,700 for a half ounce gold coin. That's probably the most expensive gold coin the U.S. Mint has ever sold for a premium, by the way.
Yeah, and we're looking at a pre-sale on a first day issue, which does come with the original packaging, because I might add something to
That's
it.
a
but
speculative
already-
buy, though. That guy who pre-ordered that is probably looking towards some upside. He might not be buying that for his collection. He could be speculating that prices are going up. I mean, with anything, it's trying to predict the future, right? So he's taking a calculated
Oh,
risk in
sure.
buying that, just like all
But-
these.
But that is
So then
crazy
how does
to
that
see.
work?
Both
Like-
the silver coins have.
This one sold for 4,000.
Let's
That's
say you
insane.
buy something like that in 2 years, theoretically, like I guess, well, I don't know, if gold prices keep going, maybe gold bails you out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what's the secondary market on stuff like this, Jeff? Like a year after the fact,
So
or 2 years.
it really comes down to a lot of these are one per household buyers. So really what happens is you see the market skyrocket right off the bat, right? Because you're going to have people and companies like me, which you've heard in other episodes of the podcast, when Gamer was talking about he bought it from the U.S. Mint, right? Didn't want to risk anything, so he sold it at a quick markup to a local dealer. So that's usually how this happens. So when you have, one per household, you have companies like me, right, who have employees that have friends. We have videos, we have followers, we have locals, etc. And we send out to our reach, we send emails out, hey guys, this coin's coming out at $100. I will guarantee you a $200 bill, two $200 bills if you get this overnight delivery in the box and you hand it to me. So we'll get into that contractual agreement right now. And if you have the confirmation of that, you send me that confirmation, right? And then I give you that $200. And then obviously when the coin lands, you immediately give it to me. So that's the process of getting these coins. Then once we get in a large amount of these coins, we send them into NGC or PCGS. They grade them and then we get them back. Yeah. So what you're seeing on eBay right now is a gentleman that does that to some level. So he's guesstimating he's going to get some 70s based off of the coins he's going to get. And he'll sell probably 20 to 30% of what he's assuming he's going to get, because we know if we get 10 coins, more than 2 or 3 are going to grade out a 70 with the US Mint. So he'll sell those in pre-sale. So that's why you're going to see the market skyrocket, because there are a subset of collectors that don't even want to play with the US Mint. They don't want to risk getting a 69. They don't want to deal with all the BS, because realistically, you can only get one. So if you get one and you get your friend to get one, now you're into it for 2 coins. If you send both those in and you get 2 69s, you just wasted money, because it's not worth it. So, a lot of times people will pay that high premium right away just to grab the 70, just like you were saying, because some people do speculate and some people don't. Then what will happen is all the people that bought the coin that want to keep it will have kept their coin. They send it in to get graded. They come back 70s, and then they see, oh, wow, I can make $1,000 selling this online. Right? Yeah. A regular person doesn't need to make as much money or overhead as any regular LLC. So that's when you'll see the price start to tick down a little bit, because when I sell it for $3,500 and I'm just some regular Joe, I'm going to post it for $3,400, and then and then 33, and then 32, and then all of a sudden it gets capped out where no one's making money because eBay's fees, etc.
So then I guess it depends on how many 70s wind up getting graded.
So
right?
that's the kicker.
You could kind of determine the market from there.
Yeah, and pretty much the largest dealers will get a couple hundred of these. They'll send them in. They'll through the grapevine we'll hear like, oh, I sent in 100 and only 30 of them graded out. It was horrible. If that happens, the price market of all of these coins skyrocket immediately. If the grade out is high, there'll be too many on the market available for sale. The price will tank and then kind of just level out. And then I will say, though, that's exactly what happened with the flowing hair, right? Right away, the price went up a lot. Then it tanked, and it was like you could buy a 70.
Oh, it did.
It tanked. Yeah, it was. You could buy them weeks later from wholesalers. They just had them. And then what ended up happening is a month or two later, right, they gained popularity. Right, the mintages were released of what they were minting. I believe they made less than what they said they were going to make. The grade out wasn't too good, and now all of a sudden it's 3, 4, 5 times. Like I think a gold flowing hair at this point sells for like $7,500, $8,000. Right? Yeah, in a 70 condition, it's pretty surprising. Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
So it's more volatile than modern. It seems like
usually, I mean. It all just depends. I mean, it's a variety between 1 per household or unlimited. Because if it's unlimited, usually what happens is the big dealers will buy them all up immediately, and then that's a wrap. And then you also have and then you have the other releases.
I was going to ask you, what would be like the craziest modern collection? What's the all-time?
Well, the craziest.
If you had to have a personal modern collection that the modern market would be like very excited about, what would that be? What would that look like?
There's a set of coins from the silver coins, this American Silver Eagle, and a set of coins from the gold collection that I like to bring up right off the bat. So I think the most expensive Silver Eagles and Gold Eagles ever to sell are going to be from the Dawn to Dust series. So that's going to be the last box ever made of the Type 1 coins and the first box ever made of the Type 2 coins. I mean, the last Silver Eagle and the first Silver Eagle minted. So the last Type 1 and the first Type 2 Silver Eagle ever minted sold for like $160,000 for the pair for 2 ounces of silver.
Yeah, we talked about that last episode. That's just an crazy set. We also had
but for the gold coins, what a lot of people don't realize for the American Gold Eagle program is that the $50 coin only has 2 years, to my knowledge, that have ever gained notoriety in a proof-like designation, meaning that the strikes on a business strike were so clean and so good that they actually gave a reflective finish. And it only actually happened in 1994 and 1995. And good luck finding a 1995. I think there's less than like 70 of them ever known. It's pretty crazy. But those coins within themselves, for any registry collectors or any big time collectors, those are the two rarest American Gold Eagle $50 coins in existence. And then obviously the two silver coins. Now, I don't know if the Dusk Till Dawn last gold coin and last first gold coin sold for as much as the silver ones did. I don't remember the actual auction price, but I would assume those would be up there as well.
So would you say like high grade Jefferson nickels and stuff like that, is that considered modern?
Obviously, yeah, those are considered modern as well. I mean, honestly, for me, I consider anything
Mhm.
modern to be made, after non-precious metals times. But then, that leads back to, pre-1964 stuff, but then I consider all Lincoln pennies pretty much modern. So it really just defines where your definition starts and ends. It's kind of a personal definition of what is modern to you. Because I'm sure some people will say, no, modern is only the U.S. Mint releases from 1986.
Well, it seems like it's transitioning
Yeah,
now, like now I hear people, a lot of collectors referring 20th century type.
yeah, which is hilarious.
It's
Yeah.
it's hard to
This means we're getting old.
it's hard because we're using the same designs in some cases for 115 years now, right? We have
Yeah,
the same obverse of the cent for 115 years. To put that in perspective, guys, that's like the difference between now and when we started the Lincoln cent is longer than the distance from when they adopted the Lincoln cent to the chain cent. Like think about how many different portrait designs that we've had, right? So wait, is it 1909 to 1793? What's that? 116 years, something like that, and we're approaching that. So the halfway
wow,
point, right? Have we thought of that? So I mean, the
that's
Lincoln
crazy.
cent,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's crazy.
technically is a we think of it as a modern coin, but I mean the design is, iconic. Um,
I was just having this
And
where do
discussion.
you
It's crazy.
where do you draw that? Where do you
yeah,
draw that
right.
line when we have? Where do you draw that line? I like to say
Which,
post
There used to be
1964.
innovation,
yeah,
Kurt.
which,
Sorry.
which
There
are,
was it. I mean, think of all the mint people back then, like Longacre and these guys. They were writing each other, coming up with different designs, doing pattern designs. I mean, now I
Now
don't
all
know.
we have is the
I don't think the
innovation dollar.
innovation is the
yeah, right.
same.
Yeah.
We gotta
Well,
get
so
we gotta get our guy Paul Hollis on the phone. We gotta get him on the
yeah.
show. Seriously, that'd
Uh,
be really cool. Maybe we can do a revamp.
and Kurt, you might be able to correct me on this one. What the oldest coin in mintage? That's the sovereign, right? That one was minted for what, a couple hundred years, right?
Well, I mean, depends on what you consider the what I mean. We have had the sovereign since what, 1820, 1819. Well, the patterns came out. It was Strucci.
I thought the original sovereigns were like 1400s, right? They were
No.
That's
OG.
a
What is that? What am I thinking of?
That's a denomination. It gets tricky. The British were using
So,
the guinea up until the Napoleonic War. You have the military style guineas of 1813 to pay the troops. The modern day sovereign, as we know it, the 0.2354 standard, that comes around in the
yeah.
1810s.
Yeah, so
With
it actually said the first sovereign was done in 1489. So you're completely right, Kurt, because the modern one was redone in 1817.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it's hard to find an
Gotcha.
1817. I've never owned one. I think maybe Charles has. I think he's offered me a few really cool ones. But
So
Yeah, I think we had a lot of early British collection in one of our sales,
to,
one of the
to
world history sales or earlier world
I
history
remember
sales.
that sale. That was collection.
Yeah,
so
Kurt did some cataloging in that sale, I think. Was it that sale or the later sale?
I've worked for so many companies at this point, Charles. I don't know. I don't know. I was probably interning for two other companies when I was doing that. I don't know. I've been around. I'm like
that's
that Johnny
nice.
Cash song. I've been everywhere, man. I've gotten to work with some really incredible
Johnny.
people, and you're definitely no exception there. And I'm having an earthquake
Oh.
here at my house. No, not really.
So I will yeah, I was about to say to cut us off. I'll leave us with one myth buster, and I'd like your guys' opinion on it. Everyone's been saying that the pennies are being stopped. When are they going to stop the pennies? And I think I finally kind of went down the rabbit hole, and the conclusion of this was they're never stopping the pennies. They're just done making the planchettes. So, we could have 1 billion planchettes or 500,000 or 100,000. I couldn't find that answer. But they will continue to make pennies until they finish the planchettes that they have left, but they are no longer making the planchettes to make the pennies. So that could mean they could keep a couple and make pennies 100 years from now, or next year could be the last one. What's your guys' thought on that and the end of the penny?
Hopefully they ration them, right? I mean, I understand from an economic standpoint, it actually costs money to make the penny. I can't remember the last time I've used pennies in a transaction other than when I was trading for another rare coin, right? But face value pennies, I've never used them to buy anything. Even when I was a kid, they didn't have much purchasing power. There's no such thing as penny candy. Even the penny candy cost a nickel when I was growing up. So totally makes sense. But as a coin lover and as a numismatist, I hope they ration those planchets out just for the issue of continuity. We've had times in the past, like in 1857, when we reduced the copper content, made the small cent because it was getting too expensive to manufacture large cents. Maybe we can come up with a composition that'll both be usable and also profitable for the United States Mint in the meantime. But it would be sad to see another repeat of 1815, which so far has been the only year when the United States hasn't made a United States cent since 1790.
I think we got a couple new presidents we could throw up on a penny.
Right. We got at least a few. Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Charles? Get rid of the penny or keep it?
I think it's just part of the trend. I mean, Kurt was mentioning before, at first we had a large cent, then that got to be too expensive. We went down to a smaller cent. Then it was, okay, well, we're not going to use copper anymore. We're going to use zinc. And then it went from an even cheaper version of zinc.
Yeah, like magnesium
Now
too.
it's just not, it doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make dollars and cents anymore to produce them. So it's just
It
part
doesn't.
of inflation. It's the
Are,
way our monetary system
are
is.
are you saying it doesn't make sense to make sense, Charles?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, we
So
Doesn't
see
make
this.
sense. You could quote me on that. Doesn't make sense to make sense.
now, Isaac, to turn us off, what's your opinion on the penny? Are you like Kurt? Have you never used a penny in your life before?
I exclusively use pennies. I carry around. It's empty now. I gotta go refill, but I carry this thing around.
We had the half
Around my
cent too.
waist.
Let's not forget about that. We had the half cent in 1857. We nixed that because
3 cents too.
I mean, I like the Flying Eagles. We only did those for a couple years.
yeah, just the way she goes.
All right, guys. I appreciate everybody coming on for the hour. Thank you so much for watching the Premier Coin Report, your weekly numismatic update. Everybody's links will be in the description below. If you got this far, you clearly like coins, so just go ahead and subscribe.
Yeah.
Any closing remarks from any of you guys?
No,
That's
come
it.
to the A&A. Come see us all. Kurt, you're going to be there too, right?
I'm going to try. Let's talk on the phone.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, 3 out of 4 of us are guaranteed to be at the A&A. So if you'd like to see 3 out of 4 of us, come to the A&A and say hi. Otherwise, we're going to spend the rest of our time trying to convince Kurt to come.